I'm the chair of the Harbor Towers One Board of Trustees, and I'm also the clerk of the Wharf District Council. Please do not ask me what a clerk does at the Wharf District Council. Mark had asked me to be clerk, and I said, what do I have to do? And he said, sign something once a year. Suzanne used to be the clerk. So I asked Suzanne, what does the clerk do? And she said, I don't know. Had asked, did you sign anything ever? No. So I'm the clerk. Welcome everybody to this meeting of the Wharf District Council. As usual,
great introduction.
So as usual, we will start with the Boston A1 District Police Report. Who's going to do that for us? Is it Captain's on the line? Yeah, Captain Driscoll's on the line.
How we doing, guys? Frank Champa, the captain's on the call.
Yeah,
I'm here, yeah, but I think Frank was going to do it. Just make sure everybody congratulates Frank on his recent promotion to sergeant.
Oh,
Thank you, Captain.
You're welcome, Sarge.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So yeah, as the captain said, I was recently promoted last 2 Fridays ago to sergeant. So in the meantime, I've been in a training which lasts approximately 6 weeks. So I'll be kind of offline a little bit, as little bit disconnected to what's going on in A1. So my role will be filled in the future. I'm sure, you know, by the time you have a next meeting, I don't know if you have any meetings over the summertime, but you should have somebody by then to replace me. And then hopefully someday I'll be back, which would be great on district. But time will tell. We'll take it one day at a time. But I wanted to thank you guys for having me over the past 4.5 years. It's been great. And like I said, hopefully I can get back involved in the community in your area anyway in the future. So I'll read through what I have. Sorry, like I said, I was in class, so I'm not as well prepared for this as usual. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer them as best as we can. You guys can hear me okay, right?
yeah.
Okay, great. So just a few things. June 6th, we had an assault in progress at 8 Faneuil Hall Marketplace over at the Starbucks. It was crowded with a bunch of people. The individual struck one of the employees and started vandalizing the store, throwing stuff all over the place. He fled, and then we actually were able to grab him and get him off to Mass General. So it was sorry, White was the victim in this case. I'm sorry about that. And he was brought over to Mass General. I think he was struck in the chin area, and this individual had fled. So something detectives will further investigate. We did have, sorry, don't mind me, I'm in the car. On June 1st, we had a person with a knife over at 1 Central Wharf. This was a homeless victim, a homeless individual. The victim stated he was in an altercation with another homeless individual. So 2 homeless on homeless here. And one of them pulled out a knife, and the suspect fled towards Congress Street. He kind of just raised the knife up and threatened him. This is another one that we had searched to no avail. Report was written. We'll go off to detectives. And then 5:30 a.m. on June 5th, we had a radio call for a break-in and entering at 7 Clinton Street at the Sunglass Hut. This individual, we spoke to the store manager, conducted a protective sweep of the store to make sure nobody was in there, to no avail. The manager was able to pull up some footage, video footage, and it revealed that approximately 4:50, the suspect arrived and began to attempt to break the window of this store, and they had a pretty good description of him. He successfully 10 minutes later broke in. That was around 5 o'clock, and he was able to steal a bunch of sunglasses. And they had to what was actually taken, but so that was one B&E. That we had another B&E, and that was to a motor vehicle. That was by One India. Over at One India, we had a motor vehicle broken into. So those are your two B&Es on district, and then another one 11:30 in the morning on Friday, June 6th, at the Battery Wharf Hotel. We had an individual that was staying at the hotel. He had like a couple $1,000 gold chain that he had in his bag, and didn't have any guests or anything, but he was going in and out of the hotel, and when he went to check out and grab his bag, wasn't there any longer. So that's something he brought to the hotel, and they will conduct their own internal investigation on top of our investigation to see if an employee was involved or whatnot. So it was just the original story. So hopefully they can pull some cameras, and our detectives can do some work, get that resolved as well. That's about it. Like I said, sorry for not being as prepared as usual with this class stuff, and I haven't been on district, so I wasn't haven't been there in a couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to get word of mouth on the ground exactly what's going on. But you have myself here, the captain, and we'll be able to get back to you with any concerns you have or whatnot. So we can open up to you guys for questions, or captain, if you have anything.
Any questions? Nope. Well, thank you for the report. Congratulations again, and we thank you for protecting our community. So we move on now to Summer in the City at Boston Harbor Hotel. I know it's up and running because I can hear it from the 29th floor of Harbor Towers. So I think Eric Denoto is here from Boston Harbor Hotel.
Oh, good. Yes, so I was here in the 24th year of operation. We opened June 6th, and then we'll operate every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. All different genres, from DJ to classic to jazz, doing pianos to DJ to karaoke. Saturdays we are open well. Basically just food and beverage service, no band. Friday nights is a new night for us too. We're geared all towards student night. So all bands or performers on Friday night have been or are a student of Berkeley School of Music, just to kind of bring that more local. As well as our food program is a little bit different this year, all geared towards cold shareable options. And we actually expanded our Seagirl patio in order to compensate with a full menu for anyone that wants. So, yeah.
Do you need reservations, or should you have reservations?
Some nights will need reservations. We do have some returning bands, such as like World Premiere Band, that will sell out. But 75% of the time you do not. But we do have our own site on Open Table that is bookable for reservations.
For the lower.
Yes,
as well.
Lower Terrace as well as Seagrove.
Any questions?
And what are the hours again?
6 p.m. will be the first show. They'll take a break about for 30 minutes within that show, and then they'll redo that show at 8 o'clock, and then everything off by 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Drop that tonight.
We're still hoping it clears up, but we'll see.
And whether something cancels, what's the best way to, just on the website to see?
On the website, we'll note, and any reservations we have, we'll call those to cancel. Usually we try to make the call at 12 p.m. In order to give people time to find out. And it'll go out via Instagram or Facebook, our website. So everywhere we can.
In the past, sometimes when weather's been bad, van has moved inside.
Yeah,
Is that not-
so- we didn't in the last couple of years. This year, we're going to attempt it again with the bands that have a small footprint. So if we have a soloist or a duet that can move inside, we will. But right now, a lot of the bands that we do have just are too big to move indoors.
And that would be Wharf.
They would move into the kind of lobby space from Magellan, in the newly renovated area there.
Any questions from folks online?
Any questions from the folks online? Looking for hands raised.
Hmm.
Like, we're good?
Oh, we certainly enjoy it.
Thank
All
you very
good.
much.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, next on is some news from the Boston Public, Chelsea Belliner.
Yeah, I'm here virtually. Suzanne, did you get my deck or is it possible for me to share that? If not, I can just talk, but I did send over a slideshow.
You can show it over. Can we?
Well,
There you are.
That possible. That's the wrong line.
That's Faneuil Hall, but
oh,
hi,
sorry,
Jenny.
sorry. Let's see. Did I get it? I don't know. Maybe you should share it.
I can share it.
I don't think I got it.
You got it, Mark?
Yeah, I think he has it. No, you have to stop sharing first, Mark.
Oh, stop share. Yeah.
Okay, so Chelsea, you can try sharing now.
Perfect.
Yeah, got it.
Great, everyone can see it?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Perfect. I'm Chelsea. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. As I told Suzanne, I have my daughter's end of school picnic today, and it's been heavily implied if we do not show up, we are bad parents. So I'm going to present to you all, and then I will probably sneak out so that I get my gold star for the year. But thank you for having me. I've met many of you, but for those of you I haven't met, I'm Chelsea Dolliner. I'm the Chief Marketing and Engagement Officer for the Boston Public Market, which is right downtown, just a couple of blocks away from you, right across from Faneuil Hall, right across from City Hall. And we are celebrating our 10th birthday this year. So in addition to a whole bunch of other things that we have going on, we also are celebrating 10 years of loving local right in your downtown neighborhood. Just a quick little overview of the BPM for those of you who don't know. We are a year-round indoor marketplace featuring products and offerings from New England. Everything that is made or sold in the market is produced within New England. Currently, all of our vendors are actually from Massachusetts, and we have just about 30 of them. We don't have any chains. Everything is local to the region, and shoppers can purchase locally sourced foods as well as artisan goods, and that can be prepared food as well as your groceries. And one thing that a lot of people don't actually realize about us that really makes us distinct from some of the other marketplaces and food halls within Boston and across the country is that we are a nonprofit. So we are a market on a mission. We have a mission-driven organization focused on entrepreneurship, supporting and subsidizing rent for local small businesses who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford a space in downtown. We have farms that have been with us for 10 years since the market opened who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford spaces right downtown, and we give them the opportunity to connect directly with the community that wants to support them. And we have several other programs such as our entrepreneurship forum that actually gives entirely free space in the market to local entrepreneurs with support from Citizens Bank to really help minority and women-owned businesses get their start with us. And then, of course, we cultivate a most diverse community around food with all of the events and activities that we hold. Just a little bit of our community impact as a nonprofit organization. We like to keep an eye on everything that we do. We were named the third best public market in the entire country this year by USA Today and readers. So thank you. I know some of you voted. I think I sent it to Suzanne to send to all of you to help us vote. And every single vote helped and counted. We've never broken the top 3 before. We've been 4 and 5 and 7 last year. So this was a huge jump. And we are so proud of our community that helped us get there. So thank you to all of you for voting. And then just a few other numbers. You know, we welcomed over 16 million people since we opened in 2015. We hosted over 650 community events last year, 92% of which are free and right in your backyard. So we really do encourage you to check them out. And a lot of them are kid friendly, a lot of them involve our vendors and give you the opportunity to activate with them. And we're also one of the largest in the entire state organizations that support and facilitate HIP and SNAP sales for our community, which really allows people who don't have access to fresh, healthy food make better use of their money. Might be too small for you to read, but feel free to check out our website. Like I said, we have over 30 vendors that range from chocolate to Mexican food to biodegradable, reusable candles to art to bakery, both regular and allergen friendly, to Union Square Donuts and Mother Juice and Banh Mi, names that you recognize and love from around the city. So we really have a little bit of everything in addition to our farms, Red Apple Farm, Sienna Farm, and all of the fish that you can get from Red's Best. We really have a little bit of something for everybody. So we really encourage you to come and browse and stop by. We have 3 newer vendors that I'll call out in particular that have joined us since, I believe, this spring. Mr. Tamale is a Mexican restaurant run by a mom and son. So they have tamales as well as a whole slew of other Mexican options, tacos, and things like that. The Happy Cactus, you'll find him right at the front of the market. He has plants, flowers, an array of framed gorgeous butterflies, which are very unique and make a really interesting gift. And then Noodle Lab will be coming back to the market with just a couple of weeks. Any of you who frequented the market before COVID will remember how popular Audrey and her ramen was. And we're so thrilled that she'll be rejoining us just in a couple of weeks. Her stall is almost done, so we're just waiting with bated breath for the final ISD inspection, and she should be open any day now.
Picture. Our picture.
And then, as I mentioned, we have nearly 50 community focused events every single month. I call it out just a few of the things that happen every week. So they're regularly and easily reoccurring. We do trivia every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and then another round at 7 p.m. We have kids events every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m., both a magic show and a sing-along. For the summer, we are doing what we're calling our hop-up series, kind of like pop-up, but it's all beer. It's free beer tasting right in the center of the market from local breweries who you may not have heard of or who may be fan favorites. So you can come on and try something new and then check out our package store to pick up some to take home with you. And that QR code on the screen does work. So feel free to sign up and check out our full calendar. July's calendar will come out in a newsletter in the next couple of days. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll know everything else that's happening in July as well. I will call out just one really fun July event. We've been doing these late night events at the BPM quarterly for the last couple of months. And our summer one is going to be 80s themed at Camp BPM. So think back to those summer camp days in the 80s. We're going to have food specials and kind of nostalgic activations like friendship bracelet making, nostalgic games. And then we're going to do a little costume contest, kind of best dressed in your 80s gear. And so tickets with that are just $20, and that includes your first drink from the bar. So it's really a great deal, a really great way to introduce some young new people to the market or for anybody who wants to stop by and have a little summer fun. And the last thing I'll mention is we do host private events at the market too. We can do anything from a 10-person board meeting up to a 500-person buyout. We have an event coordinator who helps you plan the whole thing, interacts with the vendors, coordinates the food and beverage for you. And it's just a really fun and different style event, especially when you take over the entire market and have what we call the taste of the market. We'll keep the vendors open for just you and your group and really plan something that's special and kind of outside the norm of a private event. So that's all I have for you today. I know that was a lot and I talked pretty fast to make it to the picnic, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer anything or share any more details.
Thank you,
I- I'm
Chelsea.
I would just like,
I can see you all.
yeah, I would just like to remind everybody that all of the events that Chelsea just talked about that are hosted by the market are also listed on our website because they are a wonderful member and we want to make sure that everybody is able to consider them as they're looking for things to do. So feel free to go to the wharfdistrictcouncil.org and it has links to all the stuff that they're doing as well.
Thank you, Mark. We really appreciate that. Extending the reach and creating a vibrant community and a vibrant corridor is really what the market is all about. And in partnership with the Greenway, especially, we've worked a lot on that this year, and we're happy to have the Wharf District Council support that.
I have a question. You just. About the evening, was it camp?
Yeah, our summer camp. Yes.
Yeah. Do you need a reservation to go, or do you
would-
just show up?
Tickets are available for sale on the online for $20. If you do show up just at the door, you will need a ticket, but we will be selling those at the door for a slightly higher price. But even the ones at the door will include your first drink. The tickets are really just to help us gauge how many people are going to be attending. And we do find that the majority of people buy tickets ahead of time, but at the door is completely okay.
And how long have you been doing this event?
We started in November, December, right around the holiday season. We called it Light Up the Night then. So we kicked it off as intro to the holiday season, and we turned on all of our holiday lights and had a little bit of like a lighting ceremony and a DJ and a different kind of evening then, really focused on the holidays. And then we had a second one in April that we called Night in Bloom. See, there's a theme here. And that one was, we again decked out the market in full florals, and we had yard games and just kind of kicked off what we thought of as the spring season. And so this is our summer iteration, and it probably won't be back again until we look at something into the holidays.
Thank you.
Any other questions or questions from the people on Zoom? Okay, well, thank you very much, Chelsea. Let's move on now to the Faneuil Hall Marketplace, Quincy Market, Jenny Harden.
We need to. Oh.
Yep.
Should be all right.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can see it. Mark, will you tab through that for us as we go?
I will.
Perfect, thanks. Well, hi everyone, I'm Jenny Harding. I'm the property manager for Faneuil Hall Marketplace. And I have with us our marketing and events manager, Nina Pellegrini, who's been here before as well. So I'll just set the stage a little bit before I let Nina tell you all about what we have going on for the summer. But over the last year and a half, we have had new landlords at the marketplace, same management team, but new ownership, and they have been working with us on implementing a lot of different changes, hopefully some of which you are noticing at the marketplace already. But they're doing a lot of great work behind the scenes, working with people like Alcus Manfredi to, come up with plans to reimagine what Quincy Market can look like, feel like in the future, as well as with a local real estate team, Graffito, who has been taking a very active role in reimagining our tenant mix and how we approach leasing, how we approach tenant relations, how we can bring a little bit more energy to Quincy Market in the very immediate. So our focus really has been on how can we activate the marketplace over the next year and a half, looking at this 18-month stretch of, when the world is really coming to Boston for FIFA, for the tall ships, for the 250th, and notably for us, the 200th anniversary of Quincy Market, which will be next year as well. So as the new landlord, focuses their efforts on the future and what that work will be in terms of physical enhancements to the property, capital repair that is desperately needed. We probably won't see a lot of that until we get through 2026, just because it doesn't make a lot of sense to rip apart this historic landmark that is going to get millions of visitors next year. So we're looking at this 18-month stretch of how can we make the most impact right now. And so there's been a real focus on bringing in hyperlocal businesses, hyperlocal events, where we can start to see a shift in the narrative and a shift in who we're attracting to come. So that sets the stage for a great kickoff for Nina's presentation. You can hit the next slide, please. So like Jenny mentioned, our focus this spring has been the Call for Creative Operators program with Graffito. So we kicked it off at the beginning of April, and we're excited to host these vendors through October with the possibility for extension if all goes well. Of course, we want to set everyone up for success. And just to reiterate, you know, it's really a priority for us to host, you know, makers and artisans that really reflect Boston's diverse pool of local entrepreneurs. So you'll see later on a list of all the vendors that we're hosting this season. And there's a great array of food and beverage businesses, retail businesses that all sort of offer something unique and special. Next slide, please. So here is that list. Again, it's very intentional. We went through a very strict process with Graffito about, you know, who we wanted at the marketplace. So you'll see we have some standouts. We have Lizzie's Bakery. I'm not sure if some of you have seen that cute pink shed that is now at the marketplace close to the West End. So she has been doing awesome, and it's great to have her. We have some Mexican food. We have the viral Dubai chocolate with strawberries that Madame Cervillo is serving up. We have some food trucks in there as well that we're excited to host. Point Brazil will be here this Saturday and Sunday for the first time. So if you're in the area, definitely check them out. And then we're also happy to have the Happy Cactus at the marketplace as well. Relive 1776 is a unique VR headset experience that sort of walks you through history pertaining to the local area. So that's really exciting. As well as the 67 Degrees Brewing that we recently brought on for our beer garden operator. So we had their grand opening last Wednesday. So now they are open daily from 11 a.m. to 9, which is very exciting. So definitely stop by. They occupy the outdoor space that is in front of the former Cheers restaurant. So it's really pretty. There's string lights. You can't miss it. So definitely stop by, gather family and friends. They would love to see you. Next slide, please. And then here are just some images showcasing some of the vibrant new vendors at the marketplace. So the picture in the middle on the top is the Jibril Boutique push cart. We actually just posted about them on Instagram, so definitely follow us. So she's awesome, woman-owned business, sells really cool African-inspired accessories. And then the picture on the top right is the opening of the beer garden. So we had city officials there, our team from Graffito. It was just really awesome energy at the marketplace, and we hope to see more of that with some of these new vendors. Next slide, please. Here is just a list of upcoming events that I'm sure are on the Wharf District Council website, the event
Yes, they are.
listing. So thank you for that as well. Some standouts being the 3rd annual Living Arts Boston Summit Day that's coming up next Thursday. So we're hosting that in partnership with the City of Boston and a local nonprofit. Really excited about that. Our free weekly history tours kick off after the 4th of July, so that's Saturday. They will run weekly from 11 a.m. to noon. So you can meet Linda right outside of Starbucks. She's amazing. She used to be a teacher. She's awesome with kids and adults. Everyone always has so much fun. Next month, we're also excited to host the Boston Raised Amity Festival again. So Ben & Jerry's hosts that. They basically take over the entire marketplace, which is really exciting, with music and food, ice cream, some art projects. So definitely stop by for that. And like Jenny mentioned, this year we will celebrate the 199th anniversary of Quincy
Wow.
Market on August 26th, which is really exciting. So stay tuned for some special programming there. We'll definitely have a really fun balloon arch on Quincy Market, some sort of display. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Next slide, please. And like Jenny mentioned, we're, anticipating the FIFA World Cup next year. So last Wednesday, we actually hosted local tourism and World Cup officials to unveil this countdown clock, which is really cool. So it's kind of hard to see, but at the top in red, it's counting down the days. I think we're at 358, which is exciting. And we're having continued discussions around ways we can, further collaborate, whether it's through a ticketing center or, having some sort of banner display. So exciting to see where those conversations go. And that's it.
Very good, thank you. The new vendors you were talking about, the food and craft vendors, are they around the periphery or some of them also inside?
Yeah, so most of them are outdoor. So if it does rain, they're not expected to open. But definitely stop by on a nice sunny day. Majority are outside. We do have indoor push carts and kiosks that are right under the canopies. We actually,
The bulk of them are outdoors.
yeah,
There's a couple inside.
yeah.
I have a question. Where are your visitors coming from primarily? I see the big ships coming in, the cruise ships, and I imagine they go there, but where, who's your audience?
I think anecdotally,
Yeah.
we skew tourist, whether that's domestic tourists or international. Of course, we see both. What our goal is to try and regain the local customer, and hopefully by creating some of these new partnerships, we will start to do that. We all recognize that the quality and quantity of offerings at the marketplace is limited for many years. And so our goal through this seasonal operators program is to try and, inject that flavor profile that's been missing for so long, of things that people around the neighborhood will actually want to check out. So it, like I said, over that 18 months, this is a quick way for us to do that with these seasonal opportunities. We will do that again for the holiday season. I would expect we will do it again over the winter and then again next summer. And then beyond that, there is a plan to reimagine the entire food hall, what that tenant mix looks like. And that's where Graffito has been really helpful in, having that they're very tied in to the local food scene, what makes the most sense for Quincy Market and what will drive people to want to go there. We've actually seen it already with Lizzie's Bakery. This young woman who's been featured on the Food Network multiple times. She has a huge following, and just her presence alone has driven so many people to the marketplace to check out what she has done, as well as gain us visibility online because people are posting videos about her being at Quincy Market, and we're seeing all the fruits of that really pay off.
Have you done any focus groups with locals to see what would attract them?
No, not yet. I think that's part of what Graffito will be focusing on, over the next, like I said, the year to 18 months. But that is something that they would like to do. They have done focus groups with our existing tenants. So when they were initially brought on, part of their scope of work was to do an analysis of Quincy Market, what's working, what's not working, what's missing, what are people doing well, what isn't working well. So through the findings of that came this call for seasonal operators. So it's just one step in a much longer list. But we're really excited about the outcome that we've gotten this summer and the caliber of vendors that we have gotten to set up in the marketplace. So we're very optimistic for what it bodes for the future.
Are you planning more things with FIFA?
Yes, yes, we are.
I'm sure they're very easy to work with.
You know, I will be very diplomatic and just say that lots of conversations are being had. And we look forward to next year.
You've also got the tall ships coming.
Yes. Yes,
Like that. That has huge potential, I would imagine.
yes, definitely. And we've already had success working with the state tourism department. Is it still up right now, the banner for the Mass? Oh, yep, yep. Right now, we have a banner for the Mass 250th. So with their branding, just to keep us tied in with their audience and their planning. Last month, we also were able to participate in their Lunch and Learn series, where we were able to present about the history of Quincy Market and how that plays a role in the 250th, although, you know, Quincy Market wasn't built at the same time, but 50 years later, but how it ties into the history of the state and Boston. So we're glad to be part of those conversations and to be playing a role there.
Any other questions? Anyone on Zoom have a question? Well,
Great progress.
okay. Yep, that was great. Thank you very much. And now we move on to the Climate Ready Task Force brand new video. Mark,
Right.
you're on.
Right. Thank you. As many of you know, we have been working for the Climate Resilience Task Force has been working on putting together a video that builds strongly on the video that we did a number of years ago, thanks to the generosity of the Gordons in particular, who helped to fund that wonderful first effort at our communicating with a broader public. We are going to be hosting a major event on either July 17, 22, or 23 at the aquarium, where we will be showing this event, this video for the first time to the public. But we thought it would be great to share it with all of you first. And so you're going to see this that no one has seen before other than a small group of people on the committee. You will all be invited to the event on the date on that week. I'm not sure exactly when yet, but it will be a chance for us to share this video, and then Secretary Hoffer and John Macomber are going to join a number of other people to talk about funding strategies for how we actually accomplish these daunting projects. So I'm going to share this with you, and you need to tell me if it is successfully playing. Let's see. I'm going to stop that again and try to share it and make sure this is on. Okay, good. Can you hear?
For generations,
Yes.
Boston's waterfront has brought people together to live, work, explore, and build community. But rising waters threaten that legacy. Built on landfill, Boston is among the nation's most vulnerable cities, with the Wharf district on the front line. Over the next 25 years, there's a 1 in 5 chance a storm will cause over $3 billion in damage. Now is the time to act. Let's work together to build a waterfront ready for Boston's future and the climate change effects that threaten us.
We have a real threat that's facing not just our economy and our physical infrastructure, but the way that we move about and interact with our city.
we do nothing to protect ourselves, that is an existential threat to the city of Boston. The opportunity in front of us is to continue to rethink our waterfront and bring in that protective climate resilient infrastructure in a way that enhances the vitality, sustainability, and equitable access of our waterfront for generations to come.
The Wharf District Council, a coalition of institutions, businesses, and residents, has developed a climate resilience master plan to protect the entire district with an elevated harbor walk, wave attenuation, advanced stormwater systems, and reduced heat islands. More than protection, it envisions a waterfront that's greener, more connected, and more accessible. This district-wide solution safeguards not only waterfront buildings, but almost $4 billion in public and private infrastructure. As planning continues, we're pursuing welcoming elevated spaces that protect people, transit, emergency services, and critical infrastructure. Securing Boston's future demands strong partnerships because resilience works best when we work together.
Every other breath we take comes from the ocean. The connection between not only the animals inside of our main building, but our physical location on the waterfront makes us a unique organization. We hope that we can inspire and educate people to take better care of the ocean, and that means a resilient waterfront for Boston.
In the face of rising waters, the Army Corps and the City of Boston are planning shoreline protections, while private owners take steps to safeguard their properties. The Wharf District Council's resiliency plan provides a roadmap for these initiatives to build upon one another.
So we are engaged in a coastal storm risk management study. It is a 6-year planning process. The next 3 years are the years where we're really refining the design. So between 2025 and 2028, we'll be engaging with communities like the Wharf District to make sure that we have the designs right in what the Corps will be presenting to Congress. That report goes to Congress in the spring of 2028 and then gets financed after that.
Many of you are already involved in many projects. We need to make sure that we account for those projects for 2 reasons. Number one, we don't want to see your hard work and effort go to waste. And number two, we can make sure that the projects and efforts tie in as opposed to diverge or replace each other.
If we don't act now, we'll face consequences well beyond the Wharf District.
Now is a time for all of us to come together, leaders across our business community, our civic institutions, our cultural institutions, to try and fund and implement solutions that are needed now to protect assets beyond the Wharf District as well, including some of our critical infrastructure.
The Wharf District is just one of many vulnerable communities that needs your support. Take action to help build a resilient, world-class waterfront and a stronger Boston for us all. Download our handbook to learn how to launch a community-led resilience plan in your neighborhood.
Let me just mention that it looked a little jumpy. The video is not jumpy. That's Zoom and the bandwidth.
Right. Let me also apologize. That is last week's video. This week's video has a few changes to it that make it better still, but I think most of you probably wouldn't recognize the difference. But those of you who've been working on it, I screwed up. I put on the wrong one. But anyway, it's pretty similar, but Suzanne and Norm and some others will recognize it as being last week's. Anyway. So we look forward to a robust conversation in the middle of July with some of the people who were in the video and with Secretary Hopper and John McNamara, and we hope you will all come. And many thanks, as always, to our friends at the aquarium for hosting that event there.
Mark, I think that's just absolutely fabulous what you all have put together. And for this event in July, how will that be open to all the neighborhood and other people around?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And where will it be in the aquarium? What will the venue be like?
I'm not sure. Luz is still working on that. She and Suzanne will be coordinating, but we certainly will appreciate some help when the time comes to coordinate some of the physical logistics. But we've done them there before, and I'm sure this will be another successful event.
Yeah, congratulations. I know this has been a big project everyone's working on. I think it's fabulous.
It has been. And we also have that video divided into 4 smaller sections that we will be sharing, on social media, and it will also be an easy thing for everybody to be able to share. The part that wasn't on this video, and I really apologize for that. I don't know what I did, but anyway, is that it at the end of the proper video, it directs people to where they can go on our website to sign up for updates on climate resilience, opportunities for engagement and support and news. So that's a thing that's at the end that you didn't see.
Any other questions for Mark on this? Yep, it's been quite a collaborative process. The result looks pretty sharp. Okay,
Very happy.
let's move on then. So, summer in the Wharf District neighborhood, starting with the Rose Kennedy Greenway activities. Pinch hitting for Chris Cook is Suzanne Lavoy, who's on the board. Yep. Here's the microphone.
Just a few updates, of course. All of this information is on the Rose Kennedy Greenway website in beautiful colors. So I don't have any slides, so I'll just tell you that what's happening are the normal activities with the trellis and the carousel. And now the trellis is in Christopher Columbus Park, I apologize, with Trillium and the carousel, as well as the fair that they have on Saturday and the exercise groups. But there is more coming in July. I will comment on the June gala. Hopefully, a lot of you were able to attend, which was, I think, their best year ever in terms of the presentation. It was, and the weather was perfect, as well as Glow, which I did not go to, but I understand you're smiling. Did you go to Glow?
I was sick, unfortunately. I missed both events, but
Oh,
I
dear.
heard it was wonderful.
So it was just a magnificent time for everyone, both for the gala and Glow. And then a week later, they had the Legos event, which just came down. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't that good a lot of the time, but they were pleased on not only the presentation, but also what the groups that attended and viewed the Lego experience. So I don't know if anybody was able to attend, but it seemed like a fun thing to do, especially for children. Chris wanted me to make sure that everyone was aware of the fact that he understands that there was damage on the grass as a result of these events, and they will be replacing the grass on both parcels next week. So if anyone was concerned about that. Other than that, if anybody has any comments or questions.
Anything for Suzanne? Okay, well, thank you, Suzanne. Let's move on to Joanne Hayes Rhines. What's new and exciting at Christopher Columbus Park, Joanne?
Well, thanks a lot, Norm. I think this is really fun to go from Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall, and then cross into the Greenway and the discussion what's going on there. And then as you head towards the harbor, there lo and behold is Christopher Columbus Park. And that network always just so impresses me. If thinking about it from a tourist point of view, there's just so much jammed in a very small space. That's really fun. For those of you who are looking at this as the speaker's view, I decided to put up a picture of our rose garden. I'll get my big head out of the way a little bit. This year, just everything worked together. The weather, the planting. Some years we have just a really tough time with the roses. They don't make it through the winter. I mean, there was one year I think we had to replace 14 rose bushes, which is a lot. And this is all tended by our volunteers who are obviously very, very talented. And I don't know I need to say this, but I am not one of them. And the red roses in the front are called knockout roses. And that is exactly, they're so well named. They just explode in color. And then in several weeks, they'll be wilting and it's hard to watch, but they chop all the flowers off. And then within a matter of weeks, they all bloom back in. And then the whole variety to walk around the center bed, the variety and the beauty of the design is really a work of art. So we're really proud of that this year. There's just like any garden, there's some years that are better than others. So I hope everybody can go very soon, see what there is now, but through the summer, it will still continue to bloom and also attract bees. And so it's just a fabulous, fabulous garden. We're really proud of it. The volunteers also take care of what we call the Crescent Garden, which is on the Harbor Walk just by Joe's. And that is a lot of the grasses, and then they have other very colorful flowers. So it's all around. We're lucky this year that the plantings are just so gorgeous. And the Parks Department will soon be doing their magic with the long gardens along the Richmond Street walkway and then on the perimeter. Those are all tended by the Parks Department. And I think between all of our efforts, it is just so spectacular. Upcoming is Saturday, the 28th. We have our annual Independence Day celebration, and this is for the Little Munchkins. It's craft fairs, it's magicians. I see Peter O'Malley is at the Boston Market, and he has been our MC for this for years. He'll be there. And then we have something that is lawn games, and they take over half of the lawn on Atlantic Avenue side, and just kids are just all over this equipment, and they have people who help them with it, and the families get involved. And one of the funniest things that we started a couple years ago is called sand art. And so I'm not quite sure how they do it, but it's all this different colored sand and you have to put it in and you make a picture. Well, last year, as the day was winding down, there were children doing something, and I noticed there were two fathers. They didn't know each other. They were busy on the sand art because their kids were in line to get a balloon. And I took pictures of them. They were just so cute. So it's from noon to 3:30 on Saturday, the 28th, and we're hoping for good weather to break this ridiculous cycle we've been in. And I hope you'll all be there, and thanks everybody for their support. This is all, one thing we have upcoming, and I don't know if I mentioned it before. We're putting in, if you know the free little libraries, and you'll see them in neighborhoods. There's one on the Greenway, and we're having one installed just in a matter of a month or so. And it's got a big library. No, they're not really very big, but below it, at child height, is a little one for the children. So we're excited about that. And again, without everybody's support, the members and the corporations, the small businesses, we couldn't do any of this. So thank you very much. And thank you, Suzanne, for giving us time tonight to share our fun words.
I have a question regarding the children. What are the age groups for the children participating in the Independence Day activities?
So you're usually up to about age 8 or 9, although the lawn games, older kids would have fun doing them too, but most of it's for the really little ones. And there'll be some character there who they'll take pictures with, and there's sing-alongs, and it's wonderful. People come from all over the city, you know. We ask, how did you find out about this? And word gets spread. And so there are hundreds who show up, and it's just a really sweet, peaceful afternoon.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Joanne. Any other questions online or in the room for Joanne? I bought Castor roses, Joanne, and you're absolutely correct. They are spectacular this year.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on. Is there somebody from Boston Harbor City Cruises with us? That was Matthew.
Yeah.
Right, so we're not gonna cover that today.
Now, Matthew is getting an award this evening. Yes, the Pride Award at the Prado. So, we're so excited and happy for him, wish we could be there. But, yes, so, he sends his best, but, hopefully we'll hear all about it at our next meeting, so.
Yep. The next thing on the schedule is discussion of Harbor Fest from July 2nd to July 4th. Is somebody from Conventures here to talk about that?
I guess not.
I guess not. Well, there is a Harbor Fest coming up.
From
July 2nd to July 4th.
Norm, if I can say, I believe there are fireworks on the harbor on the 2nd. I could be wrong on that date, but there will be fireworks that they'll put on as part of Harbor Fest.
Great.
And Joanne, don't they have something in Christopher Columbus Park one day?
They have usually before the fireworks, they have a concert in the park. So I haven't gotten confirmation on that, but the whole place will be buzzing, so it'd be wonderful.
Yep, it's usually a good time. Okay, so the next thing on the schedule is Granary Tavern. That's, I think, looking for a potential letter of support from the Wharf District Council for some changes.
Yes. I don't know, is Paul Wilson around? He probably, well, 6 ago.
Yeah.
Perhaps I can do this. The Granary Tavern currently has a liquor, an entertainment license that is what they call temporary, and they reach out to the city when they have events. So every time they have an event that needs entertainment such as music or even television sets, they have to go and get this temporary entertainment license. They are asking us if we would approve their having a permanent entertainment license, which would allow them to have events without going to the city for everything. Now, they've been part of the Wharf District for many years. They're on the Greenway at 170 Milk Street. I don't know if anyone has any questions that I might be able to answer.
Do we know if this is interior music or external music?
This is interior.
Okay.
This is for interior events.
And it says on the schedule here that they also need to have their zoning changed from a 37 to a 38. And I have no clue what that is. Do you?
No, I do not, actually, because I thought he would be here.
Yep.
I do know that the most immediate one is the request for the license, a permanent entertainment license, which is something that we would ask the board to vote on tonight unless they would like to have Paul come rather than me presenting this. I don't know if anyone has any questions or concerns. I guess that would be a big factor.
Yeah, my concern was answered with the internal music answer.
Right, it is internal. And
Number 37, 138, I used to have that.
Yes, but yes, I would not ask us to vote on that because I don't know what that means. And I tried to find it on the city website and I couldn't,
Okay,
but unless somebody with a law degree knows. I can't comment.
so, does it make sense to vote on this or to invite them back for next month and then vote on it?
Does anybody have any opinion?
Mark, how do you feel about that?
What's the urgency, Suzanne? Do you?
Because it's the summer season, they want to get it as soon as possible. Again, this is just for the permanent license. They've been getting temporary licenses and we've had no problem with them. The Greenway had that very same problem with Trillium, needing to have a permanent license request versus the temporary ones.
You can probably for a conditional approval and then contingent upon finding out what this change in zoning is all about or something.
Well, we wouldn't, I mean, not. Did somebody want to say something?
Well, I think we can go into executive session after this and find a way to craft a response that would work for them, unless they decide that they want to come back.
So what are we saying? I'm not.
We're saying that we're gonna decide in executive session what we're saying.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, great. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to announce?
Or discuss.
Talk about?
Or tell the community about?
Suzanne, you haven't heard anything from Pasta Beach lately on their request to transfer their liquor license, right?
I have not, no.
Okay. Do we still have on the, let's see, how does this work? Do we still have on the call, Ellie is still on, right? But it wasn't, would it go through Ellie? Who was it that there was a question that about that request. Did that come from Ellie? I forget, Suzanne.
Change here for bus connections.
Hey, Mark, I'm sorry if you all hear me. I'm on the train.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, Suzanne, we got a question from somebody as to whether or not they had been to see us.
Yes.
About this liquor license transfer. Who was that from? Somebody from.
Human Services.
Oh, yeah. And
Sierra was not able to come tonight, so.
Okay, all right, because she's actually been promoted, right?
She has, but at a certain point, she will no longer be doing this, but she is doing this for us right now, so. She is our connection right now.
All right. Right, okay, we should try to figure out what the status of that is.
Doors will open on the left.
I don't know what that's saying, do you?
I think she's on T. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, never mind for the time being, okay.
I will follow up on that though, because I have not heard anything.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else?
This is kind of random, but has anybody by chance ever tried to get a permit for lighting candles in the city of Boston?
Lighting candles where?
I want to do it outdoors, but there is a permit that the fire department has for this thing. I am not sure if it applies outdoors, and I figured before I go through that, if anybody had any insight, would love to hear it. Otherwise, I'll talk to them directly.
Only indoors.
That's
all I'm saying.
Okay.
So you want to light them outdoors?
Yes. I wanted to do something for the 250th for tourism with 250 birthday candles, and I would like the fire department to bless us for this. So, that's a great question. I also I don't have a set point in mind. I would like to do this on the harbor front, but I kind of wanted to see if the fire department is okay with that in abstract before I then go ask property owners for can I actually do that. So if you would like to host a 8-foot diameter flag cake with 250 candles, I would very much love to hear from you, as I think this could be very special.
And we have, so they know who is.
Yeah, sorry, for folks who don't know me, my name is Artur Ross. I live here in the Wharf district. I'm actually a mechanical engineer in background. I've actually certified electrical machinery for fire safety in my past life. And I run a walking tour company here, Scroll and Stroll Tours, or I've been starting it up over the last year. So some folks here have taken the tour, and I also invite everybody take a tour. I have a promo code for the Wharf district. I think it's just Wharf district. That'll get you a free ticket, as I love to entertain and get to know my neighbors. So yeah.
Would you consider it in a location that it wasn't on the wharf?
I want to keep it somewhere in the Wharf district if you have suggestions. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I also like weather dependent. It probably would be wise to have some kind of indoor facility, but I can show a photo of what the current construction looks like. This still isn't quite ready for the public eye, but yeah, I just want to, I figure 250th, what is the best way to celebrate an anniversary? I'd love to have everybody come together and kind of make a wish for America and blow out some candles. So, yeah, folks, looks like the idea.
So you're holding a birthday party?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. I want to have a birthday party
Okay.
for America.
Why don't you start with the fire department and get their opinion and what their restrictions would be, and then we can talk about it some more.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'll follow up with the fire department. Yeah. So if I can, I'd like to start it this year, but I don't know. I'm one guy working on this, so it's been a little. There's a few other things I'm working on too that have taken my attention. Yeah.
Very creative. Who's gonna blow at 250 candles?
I want the whole group to come together in this moment. I don't want to do all of that, and that's the other part of this is I will need some assistance lighting those candles for the ceremony. But if anybody wants to know, there is an Ohio-based candle supplier, and you can get 1,000 candles for $12.
Oh, wow.
So also, if anybody has a birthday at some point, I might have some extra.
Put you ahead of our resilient problem. Yeah, good. That's
Yeah.
an idea.
Well, the fake candles are also really, really good. And you don't need a permit for those. I mean, you almost can't tell the difference.
Yeah, okay.
You can't blow them out.
Yeah.
You can't buy it for $12 for 1,000.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can actually. They're incredibly cheap.
okay, I might toy around with this depending on what.
Before or after
Yeah.
tariffs? So.
Well, yeah, that's before tariffs.
Okay, that's great. Anybody else with any announcements?
Arturo, make sure that you, would you send Suzanne something about your scroll and, what's it called? Scroll and
Stroll.
and stroll. And Suzanne can get that to Flory to make sure that we have it on our website also. It may be already, but in case it's not, it should be.
Yeah, I'll share something directly. Thank you. Appreciate the enthusiasm, everybody. Really means something.
Okay, well, I think we've ended on a high note.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I like
All
the
right.
enthusiasm. Make me happy.
Norm, if we're going to in executive session now, I will stop the recording and
I'm sorry, just our next meeting is our next School District Council meeting. It'll be Tuesday, July 15th. In the letter.
Great.
Thank you. participating, but, thank you.
Your work.
Can you